What's the next question?
For our next one, do true artificial intelligence devices have a right to never be turned off? Now, I was thinking about this.
Who posed this question?
I posed this one after thinking about Demon Seed, the novel, which is also a film, and I think...
Is this the Dean Koontz one?
Dean Koontz one, about the artificially intelligent sexual predator, which is an odd book, and it's a really disturbing book, but it made me think about the idea that they actually turn this machine off. And I'm sorry, spoiler alert for a 30 or 40-year-old book. There is a statute of limitations on spoiler alerts. Yeah. But the idea is that if you have an artificial intelligent creation that you have made, do you have the right to turn it off if it is fully aware? Like proper intelligence, like a human being or a human child.
So you're saying every time Siri runs out of battery, you're killing her?
No, because Siri is not an artificial intelligence. Siri is a very good, very well-written speech recognition search engine, essentially, in the digital assistant, but she's not artificial intelligence.
So something like Mega HAL?
Yeah, like HAL 9000. If HAL were real, would its creators have a right to turn it off? And should they?
But on the other hand, there's certain different... I mean, you can save all the memories to disk, and then kind of... You're not killing it, you're putting it into a sort of a suspended animation that you can reanimate at any time.
Yes, but if you never get round to it, you've essentially killed them, because they're no longer functioning.
An interesting point in law.
Yeah. Does putting them into standby mode be the equivalent of intentionally putting someone into a coma?
I mean, how close have we got to artificial intelligence?
Not that close yet. Not real artificial intelligence.
So is this something that the lawyers are going to get very rich off?
I believe they are. At some point, we as a human race are going to have to answer this question. And that's why I wanted to talk about it here, because I think it's a very interesting point from a sci-fi point of view.
So you could have a sci-fi story about some kind of an artificial intelligence that gains sentience, and then effectively you could write a story. I'm just throwing the idea out here, and it's copyright me, don't nick it. But what about have a story where the artificial intelligence becomes self-aware and actually, through whatever means, generates an income to pay for lawyers to argue that it has rights. Mm-hmm. You know, and the story would focus on this kind of maybe a stock market prediction program becomes sentient, and it uses some of the money it makes on the side to pay for its own lawyer to argue that it should have these legal rights of entity. Would that make an interesting book?
It would. I've been plotting in my head a different version of that, where lawyers would be arguing in court that an artificial intelligence has human rights due to its intelligence, and one side arguing that it doesn't. The twist at the end, of course, being that when the decision is made, they then proceed from the judge's chambers into the main court, where the artificial intelligence is tried for murder. With the idea of
a twist ending.
Yeah, with the idea being that they have been arguing whether or not they need to actually have a trial.
Interesting twist. I like it.
Yeah.
Let me know when it's released in paperback.
Well, it's going to be a short story, I think, or a short film that we'll put out on YouTube. But that's the idea that I've been having in my head for months now, which is why I want to discuss it here, because it's an interesting topic that we are, as a society, are going to have to answer at some point.
Yeah, I suppose it's an interesting thought, and you could argue that there'd be some degree of parallels to once upon a time people believed that animals weren't sentient and therefore had no rights.
But they are sentient, they're aware of their surroundings.
Exactly, and it changed the way that we interact with animals. And will this change the way that we interact with computers and artificial intelligence?
I don't think it would change the way I interact with them, because I already pretty much treat my stuff as if it's alive.
She already gives her computers names.
I do say thanks to Siri and things like that. But
It's
just my upbringing. I'm polite.
Yeah. I think it shows a lot about a person if they say thank you to Siri Fred, don't do that.
Hey, Snuggles. Speaking of animals, here's our cat. You right there?
The thing making the noises, there's not another person there. We just have this very belligerent cat that likes to make a racket whenever we film because she's an attention seeker. Anyway, if you've got any thoughts on the subject of sentience and rights if you've got any thoughts about sentient life in a computer program, whether that embodies rights, leave comments in the comment section below, and we'd love to hear your thoughts on this. But also, you can use the hashtag Sci-Fi Chat Podcast and strike up a conversation on Twitter. We're always interested to hear what you think about this.
Absolutely.